My name is Michelle Key, and I'm a senior at Travis School who has an interest in pursuing marine biology slash science with some kind of climate change minor. And my goal is to become some kind of marine biologist or marine veterinarian in the future. Okay, so the first question is, what do you specialize in marine biology?
So my specialty in marine biology is mostly sharks and rays ecology, elasmoranks ecology, although I'm overall specialized in marine ecology and conservation.
Cool. And then what is your favorite part about being a marine biologist?
I think my favorite part about being a marine biologist is getting to do something that I'm really passionate about for a living. So if your job is something that you love, then you're not really ever working. And I think that is something truly beautiful about marine biology. Like if you're passionate, or any profession in general, if you're passionate, then that's working is just like the best activity.
And then what inspired you to go into the marine field?
I guess that like as every kid that is like interested in science or in the natural world and animals, like since I was a kid, I was just spending my time watching documentaries instead of like movies or cartoons and stuff like that. And I think that of course inspired me a lot. But I think that there was a point when I was like 16 when I shifted from being very interested in terrestrial ecosystems to being very interested in marine ecosystems. I bought my first snorkel, wetsuit, fins, and I grew up in the Canary Islands, so islands. So yeah, the ocean was everywhere, and I was just very eager to explore it all.
Yeah, like when I was younger too, I always like watched like documentaries or like veterinarian like TV shows instead of like actual like TV shows or movies for kids. So I think that's how I got into what I want to be and when I grow up. And then what does a typical day look for you on the job?
Well, I have two kind of different types of days, which is like field days and office days. So office days is as normal as any other kind of office days job. Wake up, go to the office, work in the computer, which is most of the time that you spend in science. People think we spend all the time in the ocean, and that's not true. We spend most of the time actually working in the computer. That's where the real science happens. And then the field days, which are the most fun, of course, is basically conducting at the moment. I'm working at an NGO which is studying whale sharks in Baja California, Mexico. So we spend the day basically conducting the monitoring for the whale sharks in the aggregation site.
Ooh, that's really cool. And then what are some like the amazing things you've seen slash discovered when you're out on the field?
I think that the craziest thing that I've seen in the field was when I was working in Portugal in the Azores archipelago in the middle of the North Atlantic. I saw a massive school of devil rays, much more than usual, just coming in the middle of the ocean in a seamount, in a pinnacle in the middle of the sea. And it was just incredible to see this massive school of very large animals just coming all together and getting very close to the divers. That was definitely.
That's really cool. And then what are some major accomplishments that you have achieved?
Well, I think that one of the definitely one of the points in my early career, that was very important was that I got published in a peer-reviewed journal. I got published my undergrad thesis, which I conducted during 2 years, almost practically unsupervised because I was working with sharks and rays, and I had no professor to guide me on that. And in the end, when I was doing my master's already, I just got back to all this data and all these words that I had written, and I was like, maybe this is worth publishing. Just then giving it here in the library of my computer, doing nothing. So I dove right into the process of like getting it into the peer review, and it got published. So I'm very proud of that.
That's amazing. That's great. And then, as we are currently living through a climate crisis, what are some of the major effects of climate change on your specific area of work?
Mm, I think that at the moment, what we face here is a change in the sea surface temperature, which affects, of course, the amount of plankton in the water, which affects the whale shark population in my case, in my project. So the thing is like we have an aggregation that is occurs during the winter due to the north winds, and then we have a lot of plankton in the water, and then we have a lot of whale sharks at the beginning of the winter, which is like December. And this year, just because the water temperatures haven't been that cold that fast, then we're having the peak of the season on January, February, kind of instead of December.
Mm. And then, what does new technology in marine biology look like, and how is it changing the field?
New technology.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that we're shifting towards cost-effective technologies and methodologies that are uh, at reach distance for all communities, not only for people that have budgets that are insane to buy the most expensive tags. I think that science is getting into a point that like we're trying to make non-invasive, cost-effective technologies. So camera systems are being developed, and they are very cheap, and they can be used anywhere in the world and give very valuable data compared to tags. Like you can mount one of these camera systems for a couple of $100, and these expensive tags are just tens of thousands of dollars in comparison.
Ooh, that's cool. And then, what aspect in being a marine biologist do you find the most difficult? And then, what was your most difficult experience?
I think that the most difficult experience on being a marine biologist is that it's one of the most competitive fields at the moment. So if you really want to become a marine biologist, and if you really want to work with marine megafauna, aka cetaceans, sharks, you need to be really hard worker. You need to persevere. You need to do as much as you can, and it's gonna be a lot of disappointments and a lot of competition and a lot of rejections on the way. But if you keep pushing and you're passionate about it, then eventually you will get there. But it's a shame because many people just surrender to something less appealing or less attractive to what their dreams were, like working maybe with dolphins, and they just settle for aquaculture because it's easy. There is less competition. There is much more jobs. So I would say competition, yeah.
Oh, that's really sad. Uh, and then, how has your teamwork skills been challenged in your line of work?
I think that teamwork in science is fundamental, and in the case, for example, when you're working in the field, because in the lab, when you're working on a lab, everything is much relaxed, much more under control. But when you're working on the field, every decision matters, and you need to have a very sharp sense for the decision making. In split seconds, you need to do something to manage to get the data necessary, or otherwise it's a waste of resources, a waste of money, a waste of time. And these mistakes happen all the time because the field is unpredictable. You're in the ocean, you don't have anything under control, and teamwork is essential to be coordinated to conduct the everyone has a task. For example, when you're tagging out, when we're working with a whale shark in Portugal, everyone has a task. So we're three. One of us has to take the photo ID picture, another one has to deploy one of the tags, and another one has to deploy another tag. And this happens in a time frame of 20 seconds. That we jump in the water, the whale shark sees us, starts to dive down, and then we need to do all these things in 20 seconds.
Oh, that's yeah. You have a really short time span to do everything, huh?
Oh yeah,
Um,
literally a split second sometimes.
oh God. And then, what are some common misconceptions about marine biology and being a marine biologist?
Mm, I think people think we spend all the time in the water swimming with animals, but the hard truth is that we spend a lot of time actually just sitting down on the computer doing statistics, reading papers, or writing papers.
Uh yeah, like I know like I talked to someone who's like they would tell their friends that they're like a marine biologist and be like, "Oh, so you're a dolphin trainer?" I'm just like, no.
Yeah, I mean they just think that we're like, yeah, just enjoying the animals and stuff like that, especially if you work in the field, but it's just quite the opposite. Like we just geeks that are all the time on the computer trying to make the science work, and we spend actually very little amount of the time out at
Yeah.
sea or working with the animals.
Okay. And then what are some of your favorite marine animals?
That's a great question. I am a shark guy, so of course I love sharks. I love whale sharks. I love angel sharks. Any kind of predatory shark is it's amazing. But recently, because I'm in Baja California here, there are sea lions. I never seen them before, and I think these mammals are so funny, so playful that they are definitely getting to be one of my favorite animals out in the ocean.
Yeah, they're really cute. They're really goofy.
Yeah, especially the juveniles, the pups. They just want to play around. You can grab a stone from the seafloor and then you throw it to them, and then they, like if it was a puppy dog, it just goes, grabs the stone
Yeah.
and brings it back to you. It's incredible.
Okay, so thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure talking with you. We'll end the interview here.